In this video, we're going to do multi-step US conversions. So we've done simple step US conversion, that was just one step. We did multi-units, that's when we had more than one unit in either our answer or what we're originally given. And here, this is a multi-step because we're not going to know one direct conversion from one unit to the next. We're going to need to use a string of conversions. So the first question says, how many minutes are in a week? Okay. I actually don't know off the top of my head how many minutes are in a week, but I know a bunch of conversions in between. You should be familiar with them. If not, you can go to your chart and look at the time conversions. I'm going to write down the ones we need. Okay, so we're going to need to go, since weeks are bigger than minutes, are longer than minutes, I'm going to go from minutes to hours. So there's 60 minutes equals 1 hour. And then from hours, the next biggest unit is a day. So 24 hours equals 1 day. And then I know that there are 7 days in a week. 7 days equals 1 week. So notice here I have 1, 2, 3 conversions. They all connect to each other, and they connect from minutes to weeks. Okay. So I want to start with weeks and end up with minutes. Okay, so I'm going to start with 1 week. Okay, and rather than doing this one step at a time, we're going to make a string of these conversion equations. Okay. Now again, you may know how to do this directly. I do too, but I'm going to use dimensional analysis where we use the conversion factors, so that way I can be certain that we're lining up our units correctly. So starting at a week, I have a relationship between week and days. I want weeks to cancel, so I'm going to put weeks on the bottom and days on top. Okay. Now I'm not done multiplying. I'm not going to multiply anything out yet, but I'm going to keep track of my units. I'm going to cancel weeks. Now I have days. I can go from days to hours using this conversion. Let's do that in a different color. 1 day is 24 hours. So I make this, I want days to cancel, so 1 day is going to go down here, and I want to have hours. Okay. Now keeping track of my units, notice the days cancel, and I'll be left with hours. Now I have a relationship between hours and minutes. Remember, minutes is my goal. So I'm going to put hours on the bottom so it cancels, and minutes on top. And then I double check, my hours cancel. So I'm noticing all the units cancel. I started with a week. All of them cancel with minutes, so when I multiply this all out, it's going to be in the units of minutes. Okay. So now I'm going to write a giant fraction where I multiply all the top numbers. 1 times 7 times 24 times 60. The bottom is 1 times 1 times 1. So since the bottoms were 1, we don't really need them, but that's not always the case. And now, let's multiply this on the calculator. So 1 times 7 times 24 times 60 gives us 10,080. And that's over 1, so that's just itself. So 10,080 minutes. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Brian needs 10 cups of fruit juice to make sangria. How many quarts of juice should he buy at the grocery store? So let's highlight. He needs 10 cups, and we want to know, I guess at the grocery store they just sell quarts, so how many quarts of juice should he buy at the grocery store? So we want to know how many quarts are in 10 cups. So we want to convert cups to quarts. So I'm going to start with my 10 cups here. Get a fraction ready. Now the conversion equations, we could find them in, this is volume, and And here they are right here. I'm going to write down the ones we need. So we need that 1 pint equals 2 cups. And then we also need that 2 pints equals 1 quart. Okay. So in that list, I didn't point it out, there wasn't a direct conversion between cups and quarts. We actually found one in another video, but that won't always be the case, so we're going to learn how to do it this way. So we need conversions that will connect cups to quarts, and we need the intermediate ones to line up. So notice they're both in terms of pints. So now I have my 10 cups ready. I'm going to change cups to pints. Notice cups goes on the bottom to get it to cancel. So 2 cups, and I'll put 1 pint on top. Let's keep track of our units. I'm not going to multiply yet. I'm going to save that fun for the end. Get another fraction ready. Now I want to change pints to quarts, so I can end up with quarts. I want pints to cancel, so I'm going to put 2 pints on the bottom, 1 quart on top. Check my units, pints cancel, and I'll be left with quarts. That's what I want, so I'm ready to multiply this out. The numerators are 10 times 1 times 1. Denominators, that's 1 if you want it to be, and it's 2 times 2. The units left is quarts, and we have 10 over 4 quarts, and this will be 2.5 quarts, which you could find on your calculator if you'd like. Okay. And since the question originally asked how many quarts of juice should he buy at the grocery store, well, 2.5, we might want to say if they only sell quarts of juice, Brian might have to buy 3. So we can say Brian needs 2.5 quarts of fruit juice if only sold in quarts. Brian should buy 3. So he has enough. You don't want to run low on sangria. Brian should buy 3 quarts. Okay, let's look at the last one. Let's get a highlighter ready. This looks like a lot of words. Rick measured a room at 9 feet long by 10 feet wide to get an area measurement of 90 square feet. Okay. He wants to carpet the room with new carpet, which is measured in square yards. Okay. Rick knows that 1 yard is equivalent to 3 feet, so he ordered 30 square yards of carpet. And here's our question. Did he order the correct amount? Okay. So, before we look at the conversion, because this conversion is in our list, let's compare. We know 1 yard is 3 feet. Okay. But now let's compare square yards and square feet. So I'm going to make a square, and I am going to say that it is 1 square yard. Okay. So it's 1 yard by 1 yard is by definition 1 square yard. Now let's cut this into feet. Well, there's 3 feet in each yard. So that means there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 square feet in 1 square yard. Okay. So when you're moving to area measurements or volume measurements and you're changing between units, it's not the same as the linear unit because there's 2 dimensions on each side. So notice it ended up being, we could say this is 3 feet by 3 feet. 3 times 3 is 9 square feet. Okay, so he wanted 90 square feet of carpet. Okay. Let's transform that into square yards. Okay. So we'll put 90 feet squared times, let's get a fraction ready. Well, here's our unit conversion. 1 square yard equals 9 square feet. So I want square feet to cancel, so I'm going to put that in the bottom. I want square yards to remain. The square feet cancel, so it's looking good. So we have 90 times 1 is 90 over 9 square yards, which is 10 square yards. Okay. So Rick had ordered 30 square yards of carpet. He divided by 3. So the answer to the question, did he order the correct amount, is no. Rick only needs 10 square yards of carpet. Okay. And trust me, this has happened many, many times in real life, and then you have lots of extra carpet. Okay.